This was the worst race of our entire racing career. That's what Toto Wolff said after a demoralizing result at the season-opening Bahrain Grand Prix. Toto said that there was not even a single positive thing to be taken from Bahrain. That totally shocked the Mercedes fan base. Does this mean he is throwing the towel on his team this season? Has he really lost trust on his engineers back at Brackley? According to several reports, engineers at Brackley are asked to work on the highest gear possible to throw everything they have on the team's first major upgrade package of the season. Does Mercedes have what it takes to be back to the front of the grid? In today's video, let's find out. Mercedes have been known for the genius innovations in Formula 1. Dual-axis steering, or DAS, the split turbo for their hybrid powertrain, were innovations which drove the team to win 8 consecutive Constructors' Championships. But what the engineers back at Brackley innovated for 2022, exploiting the new regulations, was a disaster. The W13 was only able to win a single race last season, with Mercedes officials declaring the W13 to be the worst car that has exited the Brackley production line. With this being the case, most fans, and head of Mercedes, expected the W14 to be a better car than its predecessor and believed that the W14 will be able to take the challenge to Red Bull. But Toto Wolff's summary about the team's season-opening race tells otherwise. In one interview, Toto said, "That was one of our worst days in racing. It was not good at all. We were lacking pace front, right and center. Finishing 5th and 7th on the race is not a positive result for a team of Mercedes caliber, but calling it as the team's worst day of racing, that's huge exaggeration." George Russell was equally negative on his comments, as he did not have any positivity to offer. He said, "Red Bull have got this championship sewn up. I don't think anybody's going to be fighting with them this year and I expect them to win. They should win every single race this season, as my bet. With the performance they've got, I don't see anybody challenging." Out of the entire team, it was Lewis Hamilton who shined some positivity on the team, on his team radio, and in front of the cameras as well. He has pointed out the pace deficit the W14 has, but did acknowledge the fact that the W14 was not bouncing at all, providing a better ride. "The Ferraris were just quicker than us today. We're the 4th fastest team. We were close for a second and then just couldn't hold on to him." Yes, his comments are not pouring the team with positive energy, but Hamilton's comments are way more motivating the team toward a positive direction, when you compare it with what George and Toto had to say. To hopefully turn things around, Mercedes has a secret weapon at its disposal, which they are going to use to the maximum. But first, let's take a look at the current state of the Brackley-based team. This review will not include what has happened, or what will happen. We will only take into account true facts. Both drivers at the Bahrain Grand Prix qualifying session exhibited similar pace. At the end of Q3, both drivers were nearly 7 tenths behind the leading Red Bull of Max Verstappen, with George Russell qualifying P6 and Lewis Hamilton qualifying P7. If you think quali deficit is huge, let's take a look at the race statistics of Mercedes. Lewis Hamilton finished P5 at Bahrain Grand Prix, ending up to be the lead Mercedes. Lewis was 51 seconds behind the race's eventual winner, Max Verstappen. The Bahrain Grand Prix is a 57-lap race, so when you do the math, that equates to about an average lap deficit of approximately 9 tenths per lap. You may think, that's a huge gap to close. But that's not it. After the Red Bull team confirming that they had an enough lead to defend P1 and P2 GP, Max's race engineer has reportedly asked Max to lap 0.7 seconds a lap slower than what they had discussed on pre-race discussions. If you account this 0.7, with the already calculated 0.9 seconds, the total lap time deficit for Mercedes when compared with the Red Bull of Max Verstappen total out to 1.5 seconds, or even closer to 1.6 seconds of race pace deficit. If Red Bull has that much of an advantage left in its tank, we will only see if someone pushes the Bulls to that extent. So, why are Mercedes so far behind? Actually, Mercedes has made up to 7 tenths of lap time when you compare Bahrain results of 2022 and 2023. Yet, there exists a big pace deficit. Problems of a Formula 1 car is normally linked to 2 terms, drag and downforce. For the best possible scenario, the car must have the maximum possible downforce while having the least amount of drag for optimum performance. Less drag means the car will be able to achieve a high top speed, while high downforce will aid to better cornering stability and speeds while having low tire degradation. When you take a look at the speed traps, Mercedes was the 3rd fastest car, always close to Ferrari and Red Bull. So, the issues got to be with downforce, and we did hear Lewis Hamilton complain about the W14 lacking overall downforce to do better in the corners. This is the main cause for the W14 having high tire degradation. When the car has high tire deg, the team has to make pit stops to get to fresh rubber. Or else, the drivers will struggle to get any pace out of the car. This is the problem within the W14. So, what is the team gonna do about it? Normally, what you would do is put pressure on the technical department. At that point, the technical department will have to squeeze everything they got to solve the car's issues to an extent as they can. If you consider the Mercedes team from 2014 to a time like 2020 to 2021, it was, according to Christian Horner's words, a well-oiled machine. After the introduction of the cost cap, there has been many changes in that machine. The oil is leaking a lot than usual. I mean, Mercedes staff have been leaving the team for better position at rival teams. But what Mercedes is about to do is the exact opposite of what's happening. The secret weapon of Mercedes is to give a senior staff of Mercedes a demotion. That person is currently working with Boats as CTO at INEOS. Yes, you've guessed it right. Toto Wolff is bringing back James Allison, the former technical director of Mercedes. Allison played a key role in the creation of 13 Formula One Constructors' Championship-winning cars, encompassing stints with Ferrari, Renault, and since 2017 the Mercedes-AMG Petronas F1 team. As technical director of the Mercedes-AMG Petronas F1 team since 2017, he had been a key part of the team's successes and had won a further 4 Formula One Constructors' Championships since he joined. Mike Elliott and his team of engineers have not been able to correct the mistakes of the W13. They have not even been able to produce a competitive car in the form of the W14. Therefore, Toto is giving Allison a demotion to get his hands dirty, to get the problems of the W14 all sorted out. Allison could be brought back for 2 reasons. One thing is to improve the W14 as it is, make the planned upgrades work with synergy. Or what they could do is to halt the W14 upgrade process, then work on an alternate direction to make the W14 B car. These are the 2 viable options Mercedes have for now, but we are not sure which path Mercedes will be taking. For either of these options, it's the technical staff who are going to have a hard time moving forward. It sure is a hard time to watch on TV, on which Toto says that you have done an awful job. There is a major reason for Toto to say that, because the W14 is nearly 2.5 years of car development. Therefore, Wolff has called the team to make radical changes to the W14. He even emphasized on the fact that the team has some things to learn from Aston Martin, considering the AMR23 uses the Mercedes power unit, the Mercedes gearbox, also the rear pull rod suspension from Mercedes. Hamilton and Toto called the Aston Martin is nearly half Mercedes, as Aston still uses the Mercedes wind tunnel for car development and testing. This is where the frustration is coming from. To see a car with your parts outperforming you, that's gonna hurt, a lot. I think it's just radical, Wolff said of the 2023 Aston Martin. As I said, they deserve to be where they are because they did a fantastic job. The good news for us is there is a lot of Mercedes in there, so we know exactly where to pinpoint it. The result at Bahrain is nothing big for the team to be happy or to be even satisfied of. Meanwhile, Lewis Hamilton did offer words of encouragement for the team. The Brit told that he still believes in the team's ability to make things happen. This is the kind of leadership a team would expect to have, not the kind of what Toto or George are offering at the present moment. It may be one moment in front of the camera, but that sure is going all in hard on the team. I hope that Toto's secret weapon, James Allison, could turn the tide in the team's favor, but how long will that take? I guess we will have to wait and see. But what do you guys think? Share your thoughts with us in the comments section down below. And on your way down, don't forget to subscribe to the channel to get notified of our future uploads, to keep yourselves up to date about the 2023 Formula One season.